My name is Shreya Sharma. I'm the CEO and founder of JustTheCase, which is a legal aggregator platform. So if you're ever stuck in the middle of a legal soup, note it down, it's www.justthecase.com. I've studied my law from the Cardiff University, UK, and I'm currently hard at work at building my company. This is something I've wanted to do for a very long time, and this is something I can finally tick off my list. I got an invite to be a part of the TED Talk via an email. And when I saw the email first, there was this sudden rush of excitement. Because like I said, I really wanted to do this. And when I could finally tame the excitement down a little, I opened the email. And this sudden nervousness came in me. Right, where I was thinking, when I come here today, are people going to want to listen to what I have to say? Are my accomplishments something that people would want to hear and something that people would get inspired by? Is it enough? Then I read other people's names who were coming here. I saw what they did. You all heard them. They have done so much stuff. And then the big question, can I match up to all these amazing people here today? There's a word for this feeling. This feeling of thinking that your abilities or your accomplishments are not as good as someone else's. Whereas in reality, they probably are. They probably are accomplishments that deserve the importance that they are getting. But you don't tend to see that. The word for this is the impostor syndrome. Now I know the impostor syndrome sounds like something that is some very scary thing. Title of a Hitchcock movie, but it's not. About 70% of people go through the imposter syndrome at some point in their lives. You would know that you're experiencing the imposter syndrome if you have this doubt. If you feel like, as the people who researched it say, you tend to feel like a fraud. You feel like your accomplishments, like I said, or your abilities, your talents are not good. You doubt these things about yourselves. Someone as accomplished as Albert Einstein had the imposter syndrome. He thought that his work did not deserve as much importance as it was getting. Yeah, I know. So anyone at any age, at any job, at any gender could have the imposter syndrome. There was this woman, Pauline Rose Clance, who was the first person to study the imposter syndrome. While she was studying it, she noticed a pattern between some students that she was a therapist to. She was a therapist in a university in the US, and when she was giving therapy to a couple of students, she noticed that although they were in a good university, they had good grades, they were intelligent, they were studying well, they were in that university on merit, they still somehow felt like they did not deserve to be in that university. She then realized that there are lots of people who go through this syndrome, and what we tend to do is we internalize these feelings. We feel like only we are going through this, and therefore it demotivates us even further, and we then push ourselves back because we think that maybe we're not as good as we're thinking. There was this time actually I went to Harvard to do a course. And when I went there, if you have seen pictures of Harvard, or if you've been there, you know that it is this beautiful place, right? So I felt the same thing. When I went there, I saw everything. I was extremely overwhelmed by how amazing and big and beautiful it was. And then I went to this classroom, and I was mesmerized by the sheer volume of technology and people and ceiling. It was huge. And all these people were saying all these smart things, and they were having this conversation. I don't know if they were actually saying smart things or it was sounding smart because you were at Harvard. But either way, it was sounding very smart. Then when I could finally calm down a little, I went and I sat down next to this one girl. When I sat down next to her, she said hi to me, I said hi to her. And then, to put it nicely, she did not say the smartest thing to me. When she said this thing to me, I realized there are probably people here who don't deserve to be here, or maybe are not those smart talking people. But you will not be able to tell them apart from everybody else because they are as confident as anybody else there. What I've realized is that that person sitting next to you is not going to scoot a little, make place for you, ask you if you're okay, say you're comfortable, no, I hope you're doing fine. No one's going to do that. No one has the time to do that. The only person who can feel like they deserve there, or the only way you will feel that you deserve to be in a place, is when you believe that you deserve to be in that place. There'll be lots of rooms I hope to enter into that are bigger than Harvard, or that are as big as Harvard, probably smaller. But each time, the only way that I will feel like I deserve to be in that place is when I believe that I deserve, that I'm there. It is that belief that made me, from the nervous student in the middle of 100 students, to someone who could actually do something at Harvard, actually excel at my classes there. It's really weird, how feeling like a superhero and feeling like an imposter is someone else's perspective of you. Now imagine that you could carry that person around with you who would give you that perspective and remind you that you are the superhero in this story. Now I know it's really difficult to carry your parents around. I really hope that I could carry my father here, my mother here, one pocket each side, carry them around. They have jobs, they work, they have things to do. They can't do that. They can't roam around with me all the time, reminding me that I'm doing well. So it'll be easier then if you were that person. If you were that person who kept telling yourself that you are the superhero in this story. You have to start somewhere, right? Might as well start now. There was a time when JustTheCase had just started, and I was the only employee in the company. So I was the head and the employee of all the departments. It's a little embarrassing to admit, but I was horrible at accounts and numbers throughout my school. But suddenly I was making P&Ls and budgets day in and day out. Then finally I got a couple of people to help me with the company, and we went and talked to lawyers. There were a lot of lawyers who questioned what we were doing. We went to this one woman who said that she didn't think it was a very good idea. Maybe this is not the right market, is I think what she said to me. And so there are people like that who questioned JustTheCase. And sometimes I questioned it, to be very honest. I questioned decisions I was taking for the company. But there was one thing I was absolutely sure of, that I didn't want to take a step back and I didn't want to stop doing this. Because this realization thankfully came to me quite early on, that if I don't believe that I can do this, if I don't believe that a company today that is in Pune will tomorrow be around the country and then after that be around the world, how are the people with me supposed to believe that that's going to happen? It's me. If I believe that this company can do something, then tomorrow everybody with me will be able to believe that this company will be something. Believing in yourselves is not something that, it happens one time and then that's it. You are this person who believes in themselves. It's your personality. That's not going to happen. Believing in yourselves is a process. You have to work on it every single day of your life. You will have plenty of challenges, and with each challenge, you will learn something new. And when you learn, the only way to move forward from that challenge is believing that you can move forward from there. I'm sure all of you have heard this saying that you are your biggest competition, right? I have a little tweak in this saying. The next time you look at yourselves in the mirror, look at yourselves as a person who is a friend. This person who you can trust, this person who has your back, this person who supports you. Because the day you can look at yourselves as that trustworthy friend, half the battle is won already. Because then you have your full support. I would like to end by this one thing. Believing in yourselves is a process. Work on it every single day of your life. Because when you believe, you will be able to do things even you can't imagine you could have done. With this then, I rest the case. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.